How you doing, guys? Officer Miserable Bastard that likes to point out everything wrong here again. After the last video, seeing how well some of the officers have reciprocated the footage, I just wanted to make one more video because I know there are still issues in the PD that I would like to try and address and try to just sharpen up on. Obviously, this isn't, the military, and we're all here to have fun and stuff, but obviously there are some things that we need to just make sure that we can improve a little bit on. To put it bluntly, I think there are some half-assed efforts sometimes when it comes to filling out reports and warrants and stuff, so if we can just sharpen them up a touch, that would be great. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to be going over a mock situation here of a stabbing at Legion, where we've arrested a suspect, confiscated the weapon, he's admitted to the murders, and we're just going to write up that report. So we're just going to imagine we're in sales processing now, okay? So, let's see, we've gone to the cells, we've got the ID, the fingerprint from Mr. Elliot Green that's on record, we'll just going to pretend there's one there. We know now this is the suspect, okay? We've confiscated the weapon, that's fine, so we know who he is. So we're going to go in instant report, and we're going to press the little plus button up here to start a new instant. And we're going to get this blank screen. So I like to start from left to right, so I'll do title, location, incident, any evidence involvement, and then finish up there with the suspect, okay? So in this instance, I would say, right, okay, Mr. Green, sir, bear with me for 2 seconds, pal. Make yourself comfortable in the cell. I'm just going to start writing up the report, okay? So every officer, I should say, is going to do things a little bit differently, okay? But for me, I like to make sure that this is as crystal clear for an officer as possible. What I mean by that is, if another officer pulls over this suspect, and I've written on there, killed a man. Alright, that's not very good. Or if the man's, correction, if the suspect here has been arrested again for another crime, it's useful that the officer can go through the system, have a look at what the previous incidences were to give them a better understanding of the suspect, okay? So, I would say here, 2 counts murder. Suspect name then will go for Elliot Green. Location is going to be Legion Parking. This is where we need to go into detail now, is the instant details, okay? So, we want to try and reciprocate and remember everything from start to finish, okay? So, my call sign is Trojan 7, okay? Trojan 7, I like to do my reports in capitals, but it's up to you. Trojan 7 responded to a 999 alert of a stabbing in progress at Legion. When arriving on scene, double off arriving. When arriving on scene, and I see one male in black clothing was standing over a deceased victim while holding a bloody knife. Armed officers alongside. So I like to break my reports up, so we'll go for this. Armed officers alongside taser trained officers issued the suspect to drop the weapon and surrender. The suspect complied with the officer's demand and was arrested on scene. Later, let's go again. Later in the cells, the suspect pled guilty to his actions. Okay, so when we're reading this now, we can understand the situation even though we weren't involved, and that's extremely important for us as officers to sort of gauge how the suspect is, alright, the type of person that the suspect is. So we can temporarily save this at the moment. Alright, we're going to keep Mr. Green's record up, so let's just pull that back up. So we can see when we search here, you can see what's going on here. We'll do it this way then. Okay, you can see here the report. So what I want to do now is I want to get the murder weapon, which is the nightstick. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this serial number to paste it onto the evidence. Alright, and then that weapon then is going to be placed inside the evidence room. Okay, so we're going to go into edit here. Evidence. The evidence type's a weapon. It's going to be, what you can imagine is the knife. Knife used for murders. And we're going to post the serial there, okay? And then we can see now the serial number of the weapon. Now, I'm just going to pop onto the Bluetooth quickly, and I'm just going to grab a random image that I've placed here in the past. Let's see. Let's have a look, see if I can find it this way. Oh, give me a second. Okay. Bear with me guys, apologies about this. I'm just going to grab random images from photos. Okay, so what I've done is, if we've got an image that we want to put on, if we paste it in the police photos on the Bluetooth and then right click and then press copy link. Alright, we're going to just imagine that this is an image of the suspects, okay? Suspects. This is, but what we do is now right click, and there we go, there's the image. Alright. And then, let's say, I'm going to involve myself. Actually, no, let me go for Officer Jack Abel. We'll do Alex Bowden as well. And we'll do Sean Ross. Trojan 1. So Abel's going to be an officer. Second on scene. So, EIU. First on scene. And then Sean Ross being Trojan 1's going to be the supervising officer. Trojan 1. Supervising officer. This is a bit more of an extreme example of a detail we could go into. But it just obviously gives you a bit of an idea. Alright. And then finally then the suspect, which would be myself. Alright. So, based off the incident report, we can see that I was standing over a deceased victim. So that's going to be 1 count of murder. We have a weapon. Actually, it's going to be 2 counts of murder because I've killed 2. We're going to see that the suspect was in possession of an offensive weapon thanks to the use of body cam. And that he did comply. Okay, so in the additional info, I'm just going to put that's not applicable. And then we would say, right, okay, Mr. Green, at the moment, so you're looking at 2 counts of murder and possession of an offensive weapon. How would you like to plead to these charges? And then the suspect would plead guilty. We'll put his flight number in. We'll say it's, there we go. And then I would sentence the suspect for 49 months and for a £2,856 fine, pressing the tick button here. Alright. This is an extreme version of events, but what it shows us is the officers all on scene. This part is not so much as important, but certainly, obviously, the use of evidence, and especially the instant detail, is imperative to making sure that we have good, solid reports. Because the problem that I've seen is we've had this, so we've had the same charges, all right, but people have literally just wrote suspect stabbed me and a civilian arrested and pled guilty. Alright, that doesn't really tell us too much. So if we can get the more detailed stuff, then that's a far better outcome for us, so that other officers then know what's happening. Alright, let's get all this sugar. Alright lads, so I just wanted to pull that up for you, that's all, just so obviously you could see what sort of quality that we look for when it comes to writing out incident reports. Don't get me wrong, I'll be the first guy to admit that it's boring, but it's really important that other officers understand what's going on, okay? And I think, lads, with that, I will conclude this section. If anyone has any questions, feel free to blow up my Bluetooth and ask me. But like I said, it's exactly the same thing as with the warrants. There needs to be structure and there needs to be effort behind the report so that we are aware of what's happening. Alright? Okay, sweet lads. Take care, have a good one.